Let's go. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go! Let's go! Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Hello, let's go. It's another Friday night, and this is your truly someone like Drake bringing you Demystify technology. First of all, sorry for the late in the transmission. My machine almost gave me a heart attack. For those of you who know that specs of machine I'm using, you understand what that means. So just around 7:55, when I was about to go live, I come into the studio and then it's off. It's running some update. Now the update is running. I'm just waiting patiently and it hangs. And now it won't start. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm just freaking out. And then I go back to check the manual and there's a reset button beneath the laptop that I can use. Sorry about that. I will try to keep it concise and then I'll bring you the part two of today's episode. But we're going to talk about what I had in mind for us to talk about. We'll start going through it, and then probably a little after 9, my time, I will just cut the stream and then I'll bring you the rest of it in next week's episode. But in today's episode, I will be talking to you about the Graph, Microsoft Graph. We started the series for the Microsoft Graph last week, Friday, and I mentioned to you that for the next couple of episodes for Demystify Technology, I'll be talking specifically about the Microsoft Graph ecosystem. So last week we saw how to get, we saw where to get info from the graph. We used it in a very basic Node application to check our calendars, to create an event and all that. In today's episode, I'll be talking to you about the Graph Toolkit. And it's amazing. It makes, things easy. When we come back, we're going to get started with that, and then I would share with you the plan for subsequent series. Stick with me. Awesome, we are back. So before we get into it, first of all, I I would like to first of all congratulate all the MVPs. Today is 1st of May. You know that the first of every month, new MVPs or renewing MVPs, the list is released, and this month I'm really excited about a couple of people that got it. First of all is Frank Odum. He's my co-organizer for the Accra.net user group and the Accra Power Platform user group. We wrote together, we do stuff together, we travel together, we build a community together, and I'm really excited to see him. It's being awarded. Frank, PS on me, you know that already. I'm really, really excited about that. And to all the other MVPs across the world, welcome to the MVP family. It just means more work for us, building more communities, and let's make this happen. So, yeah. So I'm just looking at tweets coming in, and yes, it's exciting. It's exciting, and we're grateful to a lot of people. Lawrence, Donna, Sheyi, um, Sandy, Mami Kusi, Charles, Nanayao, you guys, all of you make this possible. So let's get into today's episode. So if you realize that I'm extra hyper, it's just because I'm excited about the news. So please forgive me for that. It's just something worth celebrating. So that's why I am super, 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 super excited about it. So let's get let's get into it. So I'm gonna bring up my console. We're just gonna take a look at what we worked on last week. So where is that? It's the Graph Console app. We're going to open that. And then we demonstrated that you could actually use, Node.js, which is a common application that everybody, uses. Entry level people like to use. We use that in conjunction with the Microsoft Graph. We were able to get, a request from your calendar and an event. And then I was giving a couple of scenarios on how you could use this to do that. Welcome to everyone on the stream. Um, Welcome. Let me know if you have any questions I can answer. I'll try as much as possible to answer it. If I don't know it, I'm going to reach out to the big MVP community or reach out to the product team to get you answers on it. And just so you know, it's a learning process. We're learning. I don't know everything. I try to, learn as much as I can. But on the show, it exposes a lot of things that I'm, interested in that I also go and learn and bring you the goodness. All right. So let's get into it. So just to show you this was a very simple application. So if we go to our console, let's do this. .NET run, and then we. Yeah. So we had a very simple application. Yep. There we go. Yep. And then so this is a very simple application I built here that actually pulls. Let me show you this. That actually pulls all the information from the graph using the graph API that pulls data from my tenant, right? Very simple. I think I walked through the code last week. This is just another example of it. But let's open last week's show. Let's see, graph tutorial. Was it graph tutorial? I think it's graph tutorial. Yes, I think it's graph tutorial. Let's open that. I think I opened the wrong file. Let's open the graph tutorials. And then I can just show you how that works. Okay. Is that open? Hopefully that should open. Yep, this is it. So extensions have been modified. Yeah, let's reload Windows. So we use a Node SDK from the Graph framework, the Graph API. We use that to create a very simple application that pulls the events from our calendars. For the sake of those that were not with us last week, I'm just going to run the application so that you can see how that is. So let's do this. Let's run start. Oh, forget about that. Let's just go npm start. I'm going to run this. This should put it on port 3000. So let's go ahead, and then I'm going to bring in our console. I was actually trying to pull Frank to come on the show so that he could also get emotional, just like I was yesterday, but he decided to ghost on me. So let's do local host. Okay, my aggressive antivirus is misbehaving. Local host 3000. I think it's localhost 3000. So we run this, and yep, check this out. So this is the Node application that we worked on. We worked on last week. Simple Node application calling the Graph API, and then look at this. So this is going to be somehow easily um, connected to what we're going to talk about today. So I'm not signing, so I click here on the top to sign in, and this is going to use the Microsoft, authentication, right? So I can choose. I think hold on, let's see. I think let's use this one. Samal.adrani at demystifytech.net. Yep, I think that's what we used. Yeah. Let's log in. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the channel. I will try my best. Okay, joining you live. Okay, yes. So yes, I need him to join me live. Um, okay, let's see. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting if he's able to do that. Uh, 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 uh. Okay. All right. So as you can see, it's picked out. It's just giving this whole information was returned to me by the graph. All right. Now, if we go to calendar, we have two calendar, items. And then I think I showed the last time that I could create a calendar event for it to show here. And all this is happening using Node, right? We're writing this as a Node application, making use of the Microsoft Graph API. All right. And this is the code right here. Uh, very simple, code using passport as to help us do the authentication. Right, very simple. So at least you get to see the power of Node.js and then connecting it to the Graph API. So the key here is using Graph API. You can build your own solutions on top of Microsoft, ecosystem. If you want to build some custom internal application, you can do that. If you're an ISV and you want to build some solution that allow people that already have the Microsoft that are Microsoft 365 that can connect it into it and create a lot of things, you can use this. So in today's episode, what I want us to talk about, okay, what I want us to take a look at is the Graph Toolkit. All right, so let me bring it here. We bring it in here. Cool. So this is what we're going to be talking about. So first thing is, what is the Graph Toolkit? Now, if you're familiar with component-based web development, like React and like now Angular is doing, and all that, the Microsoft Graph Toolkit is a similar, kind of like a similar thing. It's a bunch of web components that is powered by the graph. So it's like an encapsulation of all the nitty-gritties that you would have to do manually to build something using the Graph API. These things have been done for you and being exported or exposed as components you can use directly within your applications. All right. So here's an example of it. You can see that. Let's see if you can. Let me zoom this out so you can see this properly. So take a look at this. Look at up there. You can see this particular design you're seeing here, right? This is the whole HTML for it. Like, management login here. So you're just calling them like elements, like your regular, HTML element, or you're just using it like React, so to speak. And then look at this, it's calling the what? Agenda. So if you look closely, this is just the HTML, right? Look, there's no JS. There's no CSS. You can use CSS to style it if you want to. But look, this here is just these two lines of code is what is giving you this up here. See, authentication right here. See that? I can click and sign out. This is out of the box. And look at this agenda, right? Beautiful card rendered for you the time. All this just using this toolkit. Isn't this awesome? It can cut your development time, and hey, you can actually, if you're feeling crazy enough, you can build it on top of the Graph API. But what they have done is that the Microsoft team and the Graph team have created these components ready and easy to use. So if you're building any web application, you can easily put this in, and you can have cool things going like this. Yes, you can always modify the CSS if you want to. So today, that is what I want us to take a look at. I want us to take a look at the toolkit. So let's go look as usual as we do. I try to go through the process with you so you all will learn and understand this. So the Microsoft Graph Toolkit is a collection of what? Reusable, framework agnostic, which means that it could be Vue, it could be React, it could be pure vanilla HTML. It is not framework agnostic. It's not to say that you can only use this in Node, you can only use this in React or Vue, or no. It doesn't care about any platform, any of the frameworks. It's framework agnostic, a web component, and helpers for accessing and working with the Microsoft Graph API. So if you're worried about, okay, I need to write a bunch of code to get access to, the logging, bunch of code to get access to this, Microsoft is exposing this to you in a bunch of what reusable web components that you can use for your applications. All right. Um, okay. Oh, we need you on video. So Frank is trying to run away from it. We need you on video. The show is a video show, so we can't do. So we can't just do audio, right? I think you guys would agree with me that we can't just do audio. We need him. We need him on video. We need him on video. All right. Any which ways, let's get into it. All right. So where was I? Good. Now, so the Microsoft Graph Toolkit, it makes things very easy for us. So whether I build applications and all that, quite easy. So like I mentioned, this cool thing, 2 lines of code. So now let's get into it. So how does this work? First of all, let's look at some of the components. Let me zoom this in again. Let me zoom this in so we can see. All right. Take a look at this. So logging. So we've seen that there's a logging, there's a person, there's people, there is agenda. I think this is not big enough, is it? And then let's make this big enough. Awesome. So there's logging, which gives a button and a flyout control to authenticate a user with Microsoft Identity Platform. Then there's a person, displays a person or contact by their photo, name, and or email. So you see what we did with the Node application the other time. We would have to crafted our own component and use, but this is being done for us that we can use within our application. So there's agenda. We've seen that there's a task, there's a people picker, there's a person card, and then gets to make simple get queries directly, to the API from your HTML. Isn't this cool? There's also the channel, picker. Then you can use, these are the various providers. So the component works best when you use with a provider. So the provider is like the source that helps this work. And these are the providers, whether using the Microsoft Authentication Library JS platform, or let's say framework or library, SharePoint, that's a good point, or Teams, or you can use a proxy, all right, that allows you to use a backend authentication that reroutes to the graph. And then you can also have custom, provide your own, your own provider. But here's the case: why would I want to reinvent the wheel when this is there for me? All right, so I'll go for these, built-in providers. So why use the Microsoft Graph Toolkit? Think about it. Think about that. Now, it makes integration of common experiences powered by the graph very easy. So it means that I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't have to write multiple codes. It's reusable for me to use. So as you can see, cut development times, works everywhere. Beautiful but flexible. And like I mentioned, you can customize it with your own CSS and template, and you should be fine. So who should use it? Everyone. It's open for developers of all levels, so entry level, starting. If you feel that you want to build something on top of the Graph API, build your own experience. Let's say, for instance, you want to have your own, like you're building a custom application for a client, and the client is like, well, we want to do some custom things, and we don't want to, kind of like be using or be jumping from one tool to another, like from Outlook to Teams to all that. Even though you can use some of the products that come from Microsoft, but they want to put everything together, you can use a graph, Microsoft Graph, to build that for them. And then, hey, they'll give them the same experience. Now, you can use this Edge, IE, Firefox, Chrome, Safari is very compatible. All right. So why don't we take a next step and check the playground out? We can just go straight to getting started, but the best place for you, if you don't want to set up any IDs and all that, is to go to the playground. So I'm going to open the playground to the right. And then, there you go. So take a look at this. Isn't this cool? Take a look at this. So simple, I just call management agenda, MGT-agenda, and then see, it renders this for me. Very simple. Very, 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 very simple. All right. Let's see. Cool. All right. Now, and there are options. This is a very simple one. you can try the one with an agenda. So here they have properties you can, pass information to. Like for instance, I think this is too small, guys. Let's see if I can bring this here. Yeah, and let's just show one. Cool. So now we can see the code that is creating this for us. So look at this. In this simplest form, it is this. You just put this here, and there you go. And you get a very simple, nice card. All right. You get a very simple card like this. Here, the time, the title, the location, and the people. Very simple. Cool. Just by calling this. All right. Now, if we call it with an event query. So here, the only modification you do is you fill in the event query property, and then you just pass in kind of like queries, URL queries that are appended, to the API. When we started, you realize that I showed you the OData calls. These are like URL queries you can append to it. So event, order by the start date, and then time. Quite simple. You can also get it by date, and as simple as that, also passing the date as property. So group by and then the date. So quite simple. Simple stuff. Now let's take a look at the get. All right, so the get is a bit elaborate, but look at what it gives. It brings you a lot more information. Now the get is used to pass, most you can run most of the queries that you would have literally run directly on the Graph API using the MGT get component. So take a look at this. This is how it works. Let's open this up. Okay, so there you go, MGT get. And then the resource I'm looking for is what? Messages. The version, and then the scope I'm using to call this is what? Scope mail.read, and then the number of pages is 2. Then within it, this is the template. This is how I want it to render the information when it returns. The get response comes in. Put a div here. Yep. We're doing a graph toolkit. Thank you, Mr. Frank Oldham. I wonder why you don't want to join us on video. You need to. I'm going to volunteer you very soon. Okay, so, and you can see data from email in values that return because we are calling what? Messages. And then repeat. It's just like this is just sweet. This is just very simple and easy for you to use. Quite simple. All right. Let's take a look at the login. So I just double click on this. So this is how it so look at this. This gives you a flyout to the user who is logged on. And this is just represented by calling this, just a simple one-liner. All right. So if I want to have a login in my application, it's just a matter of just putting this one line. And take a look at this. When you click on it, you get a flyout that allows me to sign out. And then look at it. Quite simple. Click on this, sign in. It's going to bring me the flow for me to what? To sign in. And take a look at that. Quite simple. Because we're in the playground, that's why it's automatically signing this in. But if you were in your own application, it would pop up the whole Microsoft, identity platform login flow, and then you will log in. If you have any questions, I will be very honored to answer it. So just put it in any of the chats. I will do my best to answer the questions for you. Then let's take a look at people. All right. So here, look at this. Quite simple. MGT people. And then I want you to show maximum of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then look at this. Look at the flyout, the pop-ups. Very beautiful and simple. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So you can use this once you're integrating with the Microsoft Graph. You can integrate this in your code and you are good to go. Now that you are aware of the playground, I would encourage you to go look around, check it out, play around with it, and get it. Now, let's get back to now. The question is, how do I get started? Now, so let's go to get started. So here, these are the options. You can use a loader, there's NPM, you can use the providers, they are polyfills. And then you can use it with React, Angular, and other frameworks, like I mentioned. So, to just give us an idea of it, as usual, I'm going to play this video, okay, for us to have a taste of it. And then we'll come back and then we'll set up our environment to use the Graph Toolkit. Let's check this out.
Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Graph Toolkit, and with us today is Nicola, who's going to tell us all about it. So, Nicola, What is the Microsoft Graph Toolkit?
The Microsoft Graph Toolkit is an open source framework agnostic web components library that allows you to use the Microsoft Graph on all your web application. All the components are completely powered by the Microsoft Graph.
And so what kind of components are we talking about here?
So we're talking about things like a login component, which allows you to display the current logged in user, allows you to log in, log out. A task component that shows your planner tasks or your Microsoft To Do tasks. We have like a calendar/agenda component. We're also working on other components, and we keep adding more and more components.
And so we say components, but like what platform are these components built on?
A great question. So because they're built on top of web standards, the web component standards, they work with all the web frameworks out there. So if you're using React or Angular or Vue or no framework at all, if you just go in vanilla, this just works. It works in all the major browsers out there right now.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Now you said powered by the Microsoft Graph. What exactly do you mean by that?
Great question. So because we are working with the Microsoft Graph, we are able to write all the code needed to talk to all the different endpoints. So the task component already knows how to talk to Microsoft Planner or Microsoft To Do and display all your tasks. Or the calendar control already knows how to talk to calendar. So you don't really have to write any code to grab data from the graph. It automatically just happens automatically.
That sounds magical. Can you show us in action?
Oh, I would love to, yes. So here it is. I'm in Visual Studio Code right now. So there's two ways to use this in your web applications, either through just a script tag, or you can use it through our NPM package. The easiest way to do it is just to use it through a script tag, and I've already added this here. I don't have anything else in my project. You can see here it's just index.html, and I'm hosting this on just a regular web server. And then I'm just going to add, for example, an MGT login component. And then if we open up this in the browser and go in private window, localhost, and then let me zoom in. So you can see here it's just a button, but I'm clicking it doesn't really do anything yet.
Okay, not so magical yet.
No. I mean, it's kind of magical. It's just one line, but it doesn't know how to sign you in. So we need to tell it how to do that. So we have this notion of providers. So if you already have code that you're using to sign in, like an MCell library, for example, you can just tell us what that is, and we can use that. Or you can just let us create one for you. The quickest way is to use another component called MCell provider. And then just tell us the client ID that you've already registered in the Azure portal. So I'm just going to use the one that I already have here. And here it is. And now this will create an user agent application behind the scenes, and all the components will be using this provider to talk to the graph. And now if I go back here, I can click sign in. It will already knows that I need to do a redirect, and I can sign in to my tenant, and I should be able to get all the data I need. So there it is.
That's a little bit more magical.
That is very magical. It gets all the data from the graph, my name, my picture, and everything. And I guess it's even more cooler when you start adding some other components on here. So for example, we're working on a tasks component right now. And if I just add that one, it will load all the tasks that are in Planner right now by default. So you can list all my planners that I have on this tenant, and I can complete the task here. Obviously, I've already prepared for a demo, so it's already completed. I haven't practiced it yet, so I'll probably just delete this later. But yeah, that's it. Just with a few lines of code, you get a full working code. Now, I showed you the MCell provider. We have providers also for SharePoint and Teams. So if you're using these in a Teams tab or a SharePoint web part, you still can do that. So for example, I have this new project I created. I just did a new React-based web part. So it's using React. It's supposed to work on SharePoint out of the box. I've already added the component here. So for example, into this React component, I've added this agenda component that we're working on. Just displays a list of my events on the calendar.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And then to tell it how to actually talk to the graph, I had to use a SharePoint provider. So I just initialize a new SharePoint provider with the context of this web part. And then behind the scenes, we do all the magic to connect all the components used with this web part with this context. So now if I open up this into my workbench, it should automatically load. I'm already hosting it through Gulp. And if I just open this up here, MGT demo, it will load up my web part, and in a second you'll see the agenda popping up and filling up. That's it.
That's very cool indeed. So if folks want to learn more about this, where do they go to find out more?
So right now we're in preview and we're open source. So we'll be working with this completely in the open with the community. To get started right now, to download and to start using it, just go to aka.ms/mgt and it'll take you to our GitHub page.
Well,
Awesome. So that for you is a quick understanding of the Microsoft Graph Toolkit. So let's go to our workbench and let's set our environment up. So like you saw in the video, it's quite easy. You can use what the loader by just putting this in your regular HTML, all right, and that's it. You're done. But I'm actually fond of using it in the Node application, so I rather go to use the Node one. So as you can see, you have to the npm install and then the Microsoft management, and this pulls it in, and then now you can reference it within your Node modules, just like you're building any other web application, right? And then good to go. You can just use it, pass the client ID, boop, we're done, just like you saw in the video. Or you can add this, import the providers from this, and then hey, make use of it. You can use it in React, Angular, Vue, or just about any framework. Quite very simple. We've also seen the components, login, get. In the playground, we've seen them. Providers are there. So yeah, I mentioned that because of our time, I won't keep you guys beyond the scope, beyond the time frame. So I'm going to pause here. But then, as you can see, there is a lot of opportunities, a lot of advantages in doing this. Now, to give you a context of what we are going to be doing in the next few series on the Demystify Tech Show, which is dedicated to the Microsoft Graph framework and then Teams, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be taking one of these popular. In fact, let me do this here so that you can see, just to give you an example of what we are expecting. Hey, how are you doing? Hello. Welcome to the show. Good to have you here. So we're going to be taking one of these popular, free admin templates, and then we're going to be using the Microsoft Graph framework to build our own, mail client and our own planner, task, and all that. I think let's do this. Let's do free admin template. Yeah, admin dashboard template. Let's do that. So we're going to pick one of these, and then we're going to use the Microsoft Graph framework to build, our own application that connects to, our Microsoft platform, and then pulls it for us. So we're going to have kind of like our own custom application built on top of the Graph API. So let's check this out. I'm just going to check a few of them out. And then let's see what we have here. What do you think? We'll stay here, my brother. Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope you're finding what we're doing helpful and educative enough. We're just trying to build, a strong tech presence on the continent so people can, we can develop a lot more tech talent. All right. So this is not bad. So something like this. Let's see, chat, calendar, email. Yeah, so we can get email, we can get our calendar. I think we can do something on Teams from here. Let's see. This doesn't look bad. Okay, let's it. And then behind this template, we're going to use the Microsoft Graph API to build a fully functional, system that could be used, just like Outlook or something like that, but all running on, the Microsoft Graph framework. So this is cool. So we can use this to do the contacts. We can model this around that. Let's see. This is also not bad. I don't like the sides too red. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, I think we can use something. We can find something that is cool. So just to give you an idea of what I plan to do. So from the next episode, we're going to start to build our own platform using the Microsoft Graph API. So I'm going to look through all this admin template, and then I'll pick one of it. And then we're going to start from scratch how to connect the Graph framework, the Microsoft Graph, to this to build our own application. So just to give you context of what we'll be doing, I've used this in the past. I think this is cool. This is clean, simple. Yeah, I think maybe we'll go with this one. Frank, what do you think? So I think I'm going to get Frank on call. Yes, I'm going to get him on call. But this looks. In fact, let's go to preview. So far that's the only one that has really, I would say, that piqued my interest. Probably because I've used it before, so maybe I'm having a bias for it. But hey, um, we if we want to build it, we have to. Well, let's see this. Pages are nah too bright. Yeah, picture in there. Chihuahua. Well, let's see this. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think this looks cool. So let's see if he has what we're looking out for. Let's see the extras. So we have our dashboards. There's a form. Let's see. Let's see. I was looking out for one that already has the email client and all that, and then we can just repurpose it just to make our lives easy. Doesn't have that, but I'm sure. Let's see. Additional pages. Okay, so like projects. Okay, so there's a project page which we can actually repurpose to do this. Okay, let's go back here and see if we can get another one. Core UI is okay. Whatever happens, Mr. Old Zoom is online. Latest MVP. I think we're gonna pick. We're probably gonna pick. So thing is, oh, let's see. Does this have email? Let's take a look at this. Ah, this wants me to just download it immediately. Mm, let's see. Let's see. Does this have? Let's take a look at this critically. Using template, blah blah blah. All right, so we're gonna pick one of it. So we're gonna pick one of these templates, and then we're going to use the Microsoft Graph to build our own application on top of it. Whichever of them I use, I will let you know of that. Well, in the meantime, I think join. So I will view. Okay, yeah, sure. But um, do I need graphical presentations? Well, yeah. So what's going to happen is that um, for if whether you want to build with any of the frameworks or stuff you want to use, yes, you can use it. We don't want to. I don't want it to be. I don't want us to be stuck in this very simple UI. So instead of doing that, that's why we're picking like a pre-designed like backend like this, and then we will write the code to integrate the graph framework into it to build like something very nice and pretty, but everything running on it. So you can come here, send an email, and then we'll use a graph API to send the email. You could come here, schedule a project or a task, and then in the background it will use a graph API. So that's the idea of on the show. So I think at this point I'm going to do something. So Mr. Odom, I'm pretty excited today. It's like I'm high on something, but it's just excitement to know that hardworking people I'm working with in the community are being recognized. So, all right. Let's see. Yep, Accra.net user group. Let's continue. So, I'm trying to see if we can get the latest, the freshest MVP on the show. So let's see. I'm gonna do. So yeah, one thing I'm going to show you guys how. I'm going to show you guys how I do my calls. This is just like a bonus window. I'm finished with the call thing. This is how I do it. Let me do this. Let me bring this here. I'm going to show you something. So anytime I have a guest and then I use my double screen, as you can see, you're still seeing Sancho's name there. All right. Now I'm going to show you how I change this almost in like real time. Okay, so this is what I do. Let's go back and let me show you. I have a file. I have a file that I just update the content. So let's go here. Production. So I have this file. this file here called the, where is it? Here. There you go. And I'm going to zoom this in so you see this. So this file here that I use, this is what I use to, set up, let's see. This is what I use to set up new users. So in this case that I'm trying to get Frank on, I would go in here and say, and then I think his is Mr. underscore Odum. All right, so I just do this. So I just have to put his name here, save, close, and I have a second one with a title. Now that he's an MVP, I can go ahead and say MVP, and then .NET ng, engineer, right? Yep, I can just do this. AC, no, yep, yeah. So his title, and then that's it. I close this, and then now if I go back to my double, check it out. It automatically prefixes his name in there. So that's how I do my, I do my stream. So now let's try to get Mr. Odum on the call. Mr. Odum, I know you are actually around. I know you are actually around. So let's go ahead and let me find Mr. Odum and call him. And let's see. We're trying to like crash on Mr. Odum on the show right now. Yeah, it's just exciting. It's just exciting. So let's go here and search for members. We have Frank here. And I'm trying to call Frank right now. So hopefully hopefully Frank is online, join us, and then we can, kind of like get him small. Okay. So where does this leave us? I would encourage you to go download or go set up the graph, toolkit on your workstations or wherever wherever you want to use it. And then what I'm going to do is that once I decide on which of the templates we're going to use, I'm going to make that template available, and then we can all follow along, and play around with it, right? So if you have any specific questions, um, you can send it to me on any of my social media handles, and please subscribe to the channel so that when we release any new video you can see it. In the meantime, let's try and see if we can get Mr. Odum online so we can congratulate him for the world to see that his works are appreciated. So let's see if Mr. Odum is online. Mr. Odum, if you are online, can you join us? So we give you an MVP's welcome. I have your yes, Dara, yes. We need, he deserves it. It's a very much deserved one. Um yep. I mean, this is just exciting. Exciting. All right, so let's go back whilst we wait for Frank to join us. Let's go back and still try to see if we can decide on one of this. Okay. So the first one we picked didn't have that. Let's look at this. Look, sales, elements, component, widget. Nah. Let's see this one. This one, I think I saw an email. I saw one with an email. So we'll try to see if we can find another one that we can pick. Let's. Okay, email. And it shouldn't be anything that. Let's go to the demo and see how this looks. It shouldn't be anything extra. Okay, so there's email here. Let's see how the email looks like. Cool. So for okay, okay, something awesome. Let's see if we can get Mr. Odum on the call. Yes, I think we're having Mr. Odum on the call. Mr. Odum, let's see. The speakers has to go here so you guys can hear him. And then I'll give him the benefit of the doubt to look at my face while this is going on. So, Mr. Odum, so
Mr. Drake.
let me actually cue this. Yes! Yes!
Thank you.
You are live on the Demystify Tech Show. And let's, I think you need another applause and then drum roll.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is awesome.
It's interesting how the whole day has been, because I had to come to work, and actually there was a lot of pressure on some of the projects we're working on. So I've been on my tools, trying to get things together, and amidst all the frustration, I just get a notification just popping up just at my right hand lower corner, and I see MVP. And I'm like,
I know, right?
I'm like, wow, let me just open this mail and see. So I just opened it and I checked it out, and wow, that was it. So, I mean, I'm very grateful for the award. I mean, we've been doing a lot in the community, and I mean, it's just nice that at least we get recognized for the work, and also it encourages us to do more, because we have a lot coming between you and I. I know we've discussed so many things I want to do for the community.
Yeah. I think we can actually put it out there. We're starting the C# bootcamp next week, right? Yeah. So I mean, it's
So there's a lot we want to do for the community, and with us linking up with our brothers in the other parts of Africa.
Yep.
There are lots of folks down in Nigeria, Togo, Kenya, that we are trying to still collaborate with, so that Africa can have like a good voice when it comes to technology. I mean, both .NET and the Power Platforms. As you can see, I'm wearing a Power BI shirt.
even though his category is developer technologies, he is a power addict at heart. So yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I was excited, and a part of me was like, okay, if I had just waited, honestly, the dates didn't really click that today was first, and to check. So I was like, oh well, if I had thought about it, I wouldn't have done my unboxing yesterday. I would have probably done it today, and then this news would have having part of it. But hey, we're extremely excited, and like you mentioned, in the two of us, there's a lot of things planning, things we are working, and I mean most people don't know that we've been working at this for some time now, and we've had plans for the community. We have a lot of things planned. I want to actually shout out the Accra.net user group, the Accra Power Platform user group, and the folks at NIT, for giving us the space to be, doing our monthly physical meetup. Hey guys, we're really, we're really appreciative of it. And people don't know that there's a lot of work that goes into it. But between you and I, we've been doing a lot of stuff. And like you said, thanks to Sheyi, Fonyi, Deji, Kazim, Dara, Lawrence, like all the other guys in Nigeria, Uganda, Kenya, all the guys that and then yeah, Kojo in Togo, amazing stuff going on. And hey John, welcome to the show. Thank you. Yeah, we're just celebrating our latest MVP, the developer technologies, crazy guys. So it's amazing. And I can tell you that for our viewers, there's a lot to come. Yeah, so congratulations from John. There's a lot of work to be done. So
yes, actually, is not for me. I see that this is like more like now. This is when the work is even going to even kind of like start and even catapult to a certain level, because there's a lot we want to do, And we also there are a lot of we want to raise a lot of leaders as well, also from the community, because the work can't be done by just us. There are a lot of guys in the communities that we see are prospective in terms of contribution, hosting events. So we'll be looking forward to like stuff like that. Guys who can host events, guys who can help us, get all these things together. So I mean, as Samuel always says, we would want to get more MVPs in our midst, because when we have more MVPs, then we can actually have the work, moving on smoothly as it is. So it's what I also say is that it's something that has to do with commitment. I mean, if you don't have passion for technology, it's difficult for you to do voluntary, because it's actually voluntary. Yeah. Some mentioned it in the stream the other time. It's voluntary work. So if you don't have passion for it, it's actually difficult for you to execute. So the first thing that comes into place is passion. Once you have passion for the technology, it's easy for you to even move from one country to another country just to go and talk tech and just come back, even without paid anything.
I don't know how Shei and the rest are going to feel about this, but I think first time online, I'm getting a bit emotional, but I think first time online, I think I want to talk about this. So it has to do with passion. I remember, I mean, this whole really like took off in December last year. So we were, we're trying to collaborate and, work with our Nigerian friends. It was the MCT Summit, MCT Africa Summit. And, we're all hyped, excited, we're going to speak. And then last minute, due to one or two issues, our counterparts, our friends in Nigeria had a bit of, financial challenge with it. And they couldn't do some things that, we're expecting them to do. But, this man was like, dude, let's go, let's do this. And we had to put up with a lot of things, we had to sacrifice a lot of things, things we can't talk on. But, we boarded a flight from Accra to Abuja. I mean, that was my first time to Abuja and first time to Nigeria, actually. We were there and, it was just exciting.
Yeah.
The community, the people, we interacted with them. And that is where we met Donna. And that is where, like, a lot of these things, the transformation happened. That is where we met Lawrence. That's when we connected with Dara, and think about it. December, January, February, March, April, I get MVP. May, you get an MVP. And the community, it's just crazy.
And let me just chip in. Probably, maybe we should just draw a highlight on even how we got in touch. So probably people think we've been friends for like ages, because the way we move, the way we do stuff together.
Yeah.
But actually, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn from the US. He was in the States. And he reached out to me, I see you have a community here and blah, blah. So we wanted to come down. He was thinking, instead of starting something different, he wanted to come so that we actually come together and make this work. So I would also say a big thank you to you, Samuel, because when Samuel came in, he brought in so many ideas, and it's through Samuel that, and a big shout out to Yao as well.
Yep.
Through Samuel's connection and Yao. And NIT, that's why when you guys come to NIT, you have a comfortable place, to sit. There's air conditioning there. We have good projectors, equipment, and all that. So it's been it's all about networking, Even from the way we got contact through Nigeria was through one friend of mine called Abisoye. I also met him through an article I read. I was actually facing a problem in developing. I was writing some code, and I went online. And I saw this guy had poured a solution there. So I just took the solution and the way developers to do it, just try and work around it to make sure it fits your scope. Then it worked for me. Then I was like, okay, let me just reach out to this guy. I mean, because he helped me, let me just say hi. I followed him on Twitter. And luckily for me, he was running a community in Lagos. So yes, I reached out to Abisoye, and he also took me through, okay, this is how we do community work and blah, 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 blah. So we started a community here in Ghana, but Sammy just brought in the fire, membership has increased, people
I think we're about 1,003 now.
Yeah,
We have 1,000
people,
team
yeah,
members now. Yeah.
yeah, people are more enthused about the technology and all that. So, for people who are listening, our fellow, Africans or Ghanaians or whatever, it's very good to collaborate. I mean, there are certain things you think you can do on your own, but when you work with somebody, you might move faster than you think. So, I mean, that's the agenda Samuel and I always, try and push collaboration, and we can easily achieve our goals.
Awesome. So this was just like, just a small part of it because trust you me guys, I'm excited. And there's something in the pipeline. I'm hoping that by, by June, July, something else is gonna pop up. So, keep it crossed. But let's keep it in context of the show. So we're gonna be doing the Microsoft Graph stuff for a couple of the Demystify episode. Since now we have an MVP for the developer technology, it won't be bad to have you, co-hosting the show because now we're going to be trying to build, an application that is running on top of the Microsoft Graph framework. So we're going to try to create like our own Outlook, calendar, all something together just to show that you can easily build that using the Microsoft Graph framework. So, well, I'm going to actually, I've just volunteered you on the show. And Dawood is laughing at you, joining us from Periscope. Dawood is laughing at you. So you've been volunteered on the show, as Donna would say. So I mean, it's just exciting. I like like we talk about the show. It's not about me. It's about the community. So the more people I can have coming on, just like the Power Series, the more people I can have coming on, to help us in the episode, the more fun it is. The more we can get people to understand and appreciate things we do. Well, Dawood says congratulations.
All right,
Dara also says congratulations. So that is
thanks.
going to be our projection for the next coming weeks. And then, hey, like we mentioned, well, we'll be starting with the C# bootcamp next week. So if you're in our .NET community or in our WhatsApp group or the meetups group, just keep following us. We'll be putting out details on the bootcamp. It's a 4 weeks bootcamp, and then we'll move to something else. So get connected with us, and then hey, you're gonna have fun. So don't forget that every Friday it's Demystify Tech, every Sunday it's Power Series, and then every Tuesday we talk about IoT. So from the champion, the latest MVP, now I'm the old MVP because you are not the latest. So from the latest MVP and from myself, from the whole community and from the whole tech community, we say congratulations and thank you for passing through and helping us end our episode on a grand style. So,
Thank
folks,
you for hosting me.
awesome. I'm sure we're going to be seeing more of you because when we start to do the graph thing, you'll be writing some plenty C# things, and because you are the developer MVP, so all the development stuff we have to come running to you. So folks, till we come your way next week with another episode of Demystify Technology. This has been me, Kamaladwani, and the latest MVP, Frank Odum, on the other side, telling you enjoy the weekend, stay safe, and hey, let's contribute our quota to community. Let's build a better Ghana, a better Africa, a better world, and a better place to help people, live in. Till then, it is adios from me.